Today's lesson is lesson number 3, use of solids. So you have to open your books to page number 2021. Let's see. Lesson number 3, use of solids. We use many solids on daily basis. You can see even around you, you can see lots of things. You have pencils, you have erasers, you have rulers, bags, notebooks, books. Each and every object is made of some kind of solid. And when we are making something out of these solids, we keep in mind the purpose, that why we are making these things. And keeping the purpose in mind, usually people are making different objects. We can see here that the pens are usually made of plastic, pencils are usually made of wood, our bags can be made of leather or some other strong material, but usually bags are made of flexible material. But the pens and pencils are usually not that flexible. And what do you think about papers and the notebooks? Would it be nice to create the books and notebooks out of plastic that are not flexible? Or would it be nice to create, let's say, an eraser out of wood? I think we cannot make things like that. We have to keep in our mind the purpose of the object we are making. Whenever the scientists and engineers, they are making any objects, they think of the purpose and the property of the solid to make any object. To understand this thing, let's see a video first, then we will come back to the lesson. Now what we are going to do, an activity. So we have to turn to page number 21 and see what activity we are supposed to do. First thing we need materials. We need 10 building blocks and we need two boxes. Here they have written cardboard boxes, but if you don't have cardboard boxes, you can have plastic boxes. It's no problem. Then you need to have bags, plastic bags. Again, one small, one large. Boxes also, one large, one small. Let's see what we are supposed to do. They're asking us which package fits the blocks. Engineers learn about the properties of a material to know how to use it. Now, how to use it means the purpose. And the properties of material we have already studied. What do engineers do? They study first thing, they observe the properties of material. We already know some properties of material we can see and observe, like color, like shape, like texture, like size. Okay, and we also know there are some properties of matter that we can test and measure, like floating and sinking, like magnetism, like flexibility. These things we can test. So engineers are always studying the properties of material before they go on making things out of them. So what we are supposed here to do, that what properties of a solid you use to help you, what properties of a solid can you use to help decide which package to use? Now you have to do the same way engineers do. You have to first of all see the properties of the objects. We have objects, 10 building blocks, we have boxes, and we have plastic box. We will observe the properties, then we have to decide which package to use. So in this activity, first thing, what first step we are going to do is observe. We have to observe the properties of the materials we are going to use. The materials what we have got 10 blocks, two boxes, and two bags of two different sizes each. So what we are going to do is observe the size and shape of the 10 blocks together. Okay, when we have 10 blocks together, and next in the next activity we will be seeing, first thing we have to do, observe the properties. Okay, next what we are supposed to do is we have to predict. And what is predict? Predict is when we are thinking and before time we come to know, I think this block will be best fit in this box, or I think this box will not be okay for the block. So when we are thinking or decide making a decision before time and still we haven't actually tested it, this is called to predict. See his thinking. Let's see, they are saying predict which container will fit all the blocks. You have to predict. That means you have to think before you actually do it, and you have to say, maybe I think this one is the proper box for this blocks. uh, Predict whether the blocks will change the shape when moved into container. You have to also predict that if you shift them from one box to other box or from one container to another container, will they change the shape? You have to predict that. Then finally you have to test your prediction. For example, if you thought they will not change shape if I change the container, you have to test it. You have to put in first container, then you have to put them shift in the next container and see whether they change the shape or no. And if you had made prediction, no, I think these blocks will fit in box number 1 or in box number 2, you have to test it actually in which box they are predicting, and you have to see whether your prediction was right or wrong. So this is how we usually do any activity. So for today's homework, you have to do page number 21.